So the city of Chicago announcing yesterday that they're not going to have their mask or vaccine check mandates in place come Monday. And that falls right in line with Governor J.B. Pritzker lifting the statewide mask mandate for most places come February 28th. To react to that, from the restaurant's perspective, we've got the Illinois Restaurant Association president, Sam Toia, with us on the WMAY morning news feed. Sam, thanks for taking time with us this morning. How you doing?
Thanks, Greg. Good morning. For America 2.0, I'm doing okay, but February 28th is going to be better for all restaurant owner-operators and customers because they'll be able to go into their favorite neighborhood restaurant without a mask mandate.
And also, you've got that vaccine requirement that was having your members kind of act as vaccine card checking individuals while they're also trying to manage a restaurant. Talk about the impacts that you've seen just from that vaccine mandate that's been in place since the beginning of the year.
First off, I just want to say we're very encouraged and we appreciate the mayor of Chicago and the governor of Illinois announcing the steps towards a sense of normalcy and a recovery for our restaurant community by removing the mask and mask mandate. But it was difficult, Greg. You know, in the 77 neighborhoods throughout the city of Chicago, you had restaurant owner-operators have to, like you said, enforce the vax mandate, the vax, passport, and it wasn't easy. You would get a party of 5 or 6 that would come in, and maybe 4 or 5 of the guests were vaccinated and one wasn't, and then they would have to say, "Oh, sorry, we can't seat you." And Chicago is a very big independent restaurant town. It's not made up of chain restaurants like Tampa or Houston. So when you tell a party of 5 or 6 they have to go because one was not vaccinated, that really hurts your bottom line. It was rough, and sometimes customers would snap at the poor host or hostess, at the host stand. So we're very glad to see the vax mandate, vaccine passport, going away on February 28th, along with the mask mandate.
So, of course, we're here in central Illinois. We haven't had such a thing. We've seen the masks. Some people are wearing them in restaurants. Other people aren't. So it's kind of a hit or miss south of I-80. But a lot of us do travel up to Chicago for things. Do you see that with this new announcement, the February 28th, the mask mandate and the vaccine mandate being lifted, is that going to boost the tourism industry in the area as well?
We're hopeful that, we're hoping that this is a sign of better times ahead for restaurants, which are still really struggling right now. January and February were real tough. But we're hoping now with the mask and vax mandates being lifted on February 28th that we'll start getting more guests in beds and diners in seats. So more people going into our hotels and restaurants. We're really hoping for that and getting more conventions back as well. We see, down in states like Florida and Texas, they're thriving with their tourist industry. So we're hoping that more tourists do come back to the, city of Chicago now, and also Springfield, because you guys, you get a nice little tourist industry down there too. And people know that if they want to wear a mask, by all means, wear a mask, but we're not forcing you to wear a mask. I'm sure some restaurants may still prefer to keep their own mask policies in place, and that's fine. That's up to them. But people have a choice, and that's all we've been asking for. Give the people a choice. They want to wear a mask, by all means, wear a mask. You don't, then you don't have to. We encourage everyone to get vaccinated if they haven't been vaccinated. That's the number one thing. How we'll get COVID-19 behind us.
Sam Toia, he's the president of the Illinois Restaurant Association, joining us here on the WMAY morning news feed, reacting to Chicago lifting vax and mask mandates for indoor settings come February 28th or March 1st, whichever way you want to cut it. So we'll see that, of course. Sam, the restaurant industry has taken a huge hit the past 2 years. It has been very difficult. A large number didn't survive. Those who did survive are still struggling. We hear that there's some federal aid that the restaurant industry nationwide is still looking for Congress from. What can you tell us about that?
Sure. So that's called the Restaurant Revitalization Fund. The first round, the government put $28.6 billion for independent restaurants, not chain restaurants. It was for independent restaurants. So you had to own 20 or less restaurants to apply. So they put it out. It was great, 28.6 billion, but only a third of the restaurants that applied for the RRF grant, Restaurant Revitalization Fund, got it. Two-thirds did not get it. So we've been advocating, and we've have a call to action campaign with our counterparts around the country to call on Congress to, replenish RRF with another, 40 about 40 plus $billion. So the two-thirds of the independent restaurants that did not get it can apply. And that's over 11,000 restaurants here in the state of Illinois. So we are advocating hard to replenish RRF with another, 45 to $50 billion. So, like I said, so independent restaurants that did not get a grant in the first round can definitely get a grant in the second round. And it's two-thirds of the restaurants that applied that did not get it.
We'll see what happens with that in Congress as that continues to find supports in places, but obviously something that'll be debated. We're talking with Sam Toia with the Illinois Restaurant Association here on the WMAY morning news feed at 8:17. Finally, Sam, I wanted to get your take on a proposal at the State House to increase the wage of tipped employees to be the minimum wage. As somebody who comes from the food service industry, I tell you, I went from a minimum wage job to a serving job because of the tips that I could make above and beyond. So I kind of see how that can be an incentive to deliver good service. But as somebody who's hears from members within the restaurant community, what's your take on this proposal at the State House?
Well, so first off, the tip wage is a policy allowed by the state law that creates a major earning potential for tipped employees, like you mentioned, and provides restaurant necessary flexibility in their labor costs to operate their business. So, the tip wage is going to go up to $9 an hour in the state. It's slowly, each year it's going up. Right now, I think it's throughout the statewide. It will be by 2025. It will be $9 an hour for tip wages. So let me explain that. So you're making $9 an hour, but you have to make sure you're making at least $6 an hour in tips. So you're making $15 an hour. As you just mentioned, Greg, you're making a lot more than $6 an hour in tips. And we know because 90% of the restaurants out there have a POS system, a point of sale systems. So it will show how much people are making in tips, not just a tip wage. And that's when people put it out there. They're only getting, $9 an hour in 2025 when it goes to $9 an hour for tip wages. Why, what do you talk about? You're getting the tips, and we can show you're getting the tips because the federal government's got it set up that you have to pay your payroll taxes on your tips. They're not just going to let you get tips and not pay taxes on it. So that's why they show there's nothing, there's nothing here. Well, because you're paying your taxes because you're averaging probably $25 an hour with the $9 an hour plus your tips. So once again, by law, you have to make minimum, your tips plus your tip wage has to equal more than $15 an hour. Like I said, in 2025 when we get there, and it keeps going up and up and up. On the federal level, the tip wage is over, only like $2.17. Here in Illinois, we will be at $9 an hour by 2025, or close to $7 an hour right now. It keeps going up. The Illinois Restaurant Association endorsed the $15 and endorsed the tip wage going up to $9 an hour. So again, you have to make minimum wage. You cannot make less than minimum wage. That's what I want to make sure all your listeners understand. And restaurant owners, operators that are not making sure their wait people are making minimum wage, they're bad actors, and we do not back bad actors.
So again, just to reiterate, a tipped server has to get at least minimum wage from their tipped wage plus whatever tips they get. It has to equal at least minimum wage, and that's something that the restaurants have to be accountable for, and the employee has to claim the tips, and they have to pay taxes on those tips. So they already are required to get at least minimum wage if they don't make enough in tips. So that's already a requirement. But if it was not, if it was a level playing field with the minimum wage all across, how do you think that would play out for the quality of service that servers may or may not offer?
It's the same thing. Usually a wait person has anywhere from, four to six table station. They kind of own those 4 to 6 tables. They're hustling, they're trying to make their money, they're giving great service, anyone, people leave anywhere from, you know, average of 15 to 18% tips, but some people leave 22%, some people leave 25%. Like I said, the average is 15 to 18% on a bill. So $100 bill, the average person's leaving usually 15 to $18. But if they see you're like really hustling and pre-busting the table and refilling their sodas and everything, they might, up it to $22 an hour. So that's what wait people do. They're working, they're working for their, for the customer and to get a higher wage. So I think that you get a lot of type A personalities in the restaurant industry. They like to have a 4 to 6 table wait station that they own, and they can make as much money as they can by giving great service. It's the same thing basically in a beauty salon or a barbershop. Those people working those chairs, they're not usually getting paid. They're working for their tips as well too. So, people that go in working for tips, they want to make as much money as they can, be it cutting hair or be it waiting tables.
Sam Toia, president of the Illinois Restaurant Association, greatly appreciate you taking the time to react to all things impacting restaurants for the past 2 years, and we'll likely connect again in the near future. All right, be safe out there.
Thanks for having me, Greg, and I hope all your listeners are supporting all their neighborhood restaurants, because they're the soul of every neighborhood in Springfield. So support your local restaurant. If you don't feel like going in, do curbside pickup or delivery. All right. Thanks,
appreciate
Greg.
that. Absolutely. 8:22 now in the WMAY newsroom. We will check in with weather and more coming up at the bottom of the hour, so stay tuned. But right now, 8:23 from Culver's West on Wabash.
Shrimp, cod, and walleye. Oh, my.